It's time to wake up. It's time to wake up. It's time to wake up. It's time to wake up.
So my name is Malcolm Fabiyi. I am CEO and founder at Optimabiome, and the work we're focused on is facilitating mobile carbon capture. So I remember about 2 decades ago, I got my first car. And I remember the feeling of freedom that I felt, knowing that I could go wherever I wanted to go, whenever I wanted to. And I'm sure that all of us in this hall, if not, or at least most of us, understand that feeling. But the truth is that that feeling comes at a significant cost to the planet. Because for every kilogram of gasoline that we put into these cars, we're basically generating 3 kilograms of CO2. The average car drives about 5,000 kilometers. Basically, each car generates roughly a ton of CO2. Now, think about the fact that there are 1.5 billion passenger cars, over 250 million trucks, tens of thousands of trains, marine vessels, boats, and we begin to get a sense for the scale of the problem. 21% of global emissions, 8 billion tons a year, is generated from transportation. And it's difficult enough to capture carbon from stationary systems. Trying to capture carbon from mobile systems is incredibly challenging. The trends are also kind of mixed. We know that the future is EVs and hydrogen fuel cell vehicles, but even the most optimistic estimates tell us that it's going to take us at least 2 to 3 decades before those solutions become mainstream and can make a significant dent. So we need bridge transitional solutions. And the question is, what might those solutions look like? Well, the first thing is we know they have to be small enough, and they have to be scalable. Small enough to fit into small passenger cars, scalable to be able to treat carbon removals from things like as big as marine vessels. They have to have a low energy footprint, and they must be modular. We must have the capacity to replace them, because as they capture carbon, they're going to increase in weight. And we believe at Optimabiome that we've actually created exactly such a solution. We've developed a matrix material that has the capacity to capture, store, and be used for the transport of CO2. We've demonstrated about 100 kilograms per cubic meter of that material in terms of the capacity for carbon capture. We need no energy for liquefying the CO2 we capture or even compressing it. And we're actually able to take the CO2 that's stored in the material and use it as a final storage option. Our preference, however, is to recover the CO2 and put the matrix back into the value chain. And we can achieve scalability. So this material can be adapted to be put into systems as small passenger cars, and potentially to capture carbon also from large marine vessels or even cruise liners. And the solution can also potentially be utilized in places where we don't have pipeline infrastructure to just transport carbon. Our business model is pretty simple. The idea we're focused on is building the hardware and the consumables, working with our value chain partners. The carbon that we removed is going to generate carbon credits. That credit is going to be traded. The proceeds from that is going to be shared across the entire value chain. And in terms of the competitive landscape, this is an incredibly challenging problem. But the truth is that we don't have a lot of action in this space. Obviously, a lot of the focus has been on the EV and the hydrogen fuel cell side. But we believe we have a technology that actually stands at a significant competitive advantage. It has the potential for scalability and also has a significantly low energy footprint. The market potential obviously is large, 8 billion tons of CO2 per year that needs to be dealt with. We strongly believe that the technology itself also has the potential to be utilized for capturing carbon from small systems, like generating power generating plants, the type that you would find very commonly in the global south, and can also be used for CO2 capture in small-scale systems. Put all that together, and we believe you're looking potentially at an industry that could be about $1 trillion in value. But what we're most excited by is the possibility that this solution might actually enable us to begin to put tools in the hands of the 500 million households that own these 1.5 billion cars. Up until now, we have relied on corporate organizations to help us reduce carbon emissions. The reality is that since Kyoto in 1992, we have never had a single year where we have reduced emissions. Emissions have gone up year on year since 1992, except for the 2 COVID years where almost everything was shut down. So we think it's time to actually put tools in the hand of end users, consumers, individuals, to be able to become significant players within the climate action community. And we believe that the Matrix solution can become part of this toolkit of solutions that can help us achieve that. Where we are is simple. We're at a point where we're beginning to scale. So we're growing out our team. We're beginning to look for partners, strategic partners, that can work with us to help us put these products into the hands of consumers. We're partners, including automakers and a lot of people across our value chain that can help ensure that we're providing our consumers with the product itself, and then partners that can also help us take the carbon that we generate, the carbon that we recover, and put that either to use or to storage. So thank you very much for listening. Look forward to the conversation. And I invite you to join us in what we call the Matrix Revolution. Thank you.
It's time to wake up.